Everybody also there in the bar? Fine? You there too? Everything's fine. Okay. Nice to have a private session, right? Like a small one-to-one session, almost. One-to-one. Okay. I'm not gonna entertain as good as those guys there with the... But I'm gonna talk about something different. You know, at the age of 32, I remember that was so clear to me. At the age of 32, I realized suddenly I only have 33 years to live, and then I die. It was absolutely terrible idea that I'm gonna die at the age of 65. I'm 40 right now, so it's 25 years to go, all right? Why? Why I realized that it's so little for me to live? Because I was so very much similar with my father. It's like everybody tells me I'm like the copy-paste with my father. The problem is with that he died at the age of 65. 65. And not only age of 65, like the last 15 to 20 years for him was total misery. Like he was hospital in, hospital out. Hospital in, hospital out. Oh, that's a problem. Do you think it's a problem? Who wants to live like that? Of course, nobody. So this is the time when I realized, why wouldn't I double the lifespan of my father? This is when I realized, you know what? Let's set a goal and let's live to 120 years, just for the sake of the length. And then I started to look into the idea of the longevity, you know, how to increase the lifespan, but also how to increase the happiness span, the health span, all the fucking, spans around here. All the spans. So this is when I stumbled upon the idea of the biohacking. Have you heard of the biohacking term? Of course, you are the leaders in biohacking in Europe. I actually have a good friend of mine, which is a Finnish guy, Suomi Areena. He was announced and actually got the reward last year, the Speaker of the Year in Finland. So he's a mentor of us and a good friend and helps us in biohacking. And I'm a founder of biohacking community and biohacking conference in Latvia. So, and when you read about biohacking, when you go inside the biohacking stuff, you pretty much soon realize that it's high tech. It's like high tech. Maybe even implant the chips in your hand. You can even upload, or you might be able, maybe, upload your consciousness into the cloud somewhere, and then live with artificial intelligence as one. That's a legit direction of the biohacking. Well, I thought, why wouldn't I, and I actually quite soon stumbled upon the dilemma. And the dilemma is, high tech is nice. Don't get me wrong, I'm for the high tech. Definitely, I use smartphones, I use actually everything. But the dilemma is, why don't we use actually the so-called low-hanging fruit, which is called the dumb tech. Like the tech for dumb people. And you know what that is? I will get into that in the moment. Of course, the high technology is not going away. We more and more start talking about the Internet of Things. You know how the fridge is connected to the Alexa, and you can just by telling in a voice message that you want some beer, and it might appear in the fridge. These technologies are not going away. But just to make the point clear, I'm totally not against tech. Because what? You know what? You know what that picture tells you? why I appreciate tech and the civilization and all the fruits that we actually enjoy in every day. It's the operation without anesthesia. Can you imagine going into the operation without having an anesthesia injection? Oh, that's horrifying. For me, it's like, oh. And of course, I love my fridge. You know, central heating. I think if they removed central heating, we would go to war. We would like fight for the central heating. Who would like to have no central heating here? My wife would divorce me if I said no heating no more. So this is high tech is gonna stay here. The problem with the high technology is that because we are created, we are evolved in being in the harsh environment all the time. That's why we actually created these technologies in the first place, because we want to get rid of the hunger, we want to get rid of the cold, we want to get rid of the fear, we want to get rid of walking long distances, so we fly and go by cars. That makes us weak. And as a biohacker, we realize actually that we are a system, the whole complex of many different systems, the cardiovascular, digestion system, nervous system. And by just not exposing ourselves to the harsh environment, we are getting weaker, 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 weaker. So we die in misery for the last 15 years, as my father did. So, and the high technology is definitely good, because you have this Oura ring, which tracks your sleep. This is one of the best tools and gadgets available on the market. It's like perfect tool, it's precise and everything. But I'm talking about the dumb tools. The dumb tools is like all around us, you know, exposing ourselves to walking barefoot. You try to use the unused body parts all the time. You have to do that. Everybody intuitively know that when you walk outside on the bare ground with barefoot, go for the swim and under the sun, you instantly feel much better than walking with soft carpets and inside the artificial lighting. So this is one thing which is every time available for us. And the next thing is what you actually know a lot. Raise a hand who likes cold. Exactly. This is how we train our nervous system. This is how we make ourselves stronger. And instead of going to, I don't know, like in Latvia it's the same, even you have even worse. We maybe have 9 months of winter, you have 10. So, and instead of like, what is that climate, I don't like that. Just mind shift. When you have cold outside, you say to yourself, now I'm training my nervous system. This is how you make yourself stronger. This is how you make yourself more resilient. And now, a little bit off topic, but at the same time, the same topic, is also do it yourself. You know, nowadays you hear a lot about the stand-up desks, walking distances and things like that. So this high technology is created for you to adjust the height and, you know, so you stand, work, your mind works better. But very often I hear the complaint, you know, it's too expensive. This table might easily cost 1,000 euros. So for the desk, you know, to work at, it's like, okay, let's sit down and do the things. So I do it myself. This is my do-it-yourself stand-up desk. So it's not always, you don't need a super duper high technology. And just to show you that we are not only obsessed about our personal well-being, our personal health, and, you know, oh, me, we pay a huge attention to the social aspect. So this pyramid actually shows you the idea of the blue zones. These are the places where they have a lot of people living 100 and more years. And this belonging aspect, being together, like now sitting together, doing some events and everything like that. The social aspect is almost the most important one before you even start talking about how to improve your sleep, how to improve your brain capacity and things like that. So, and therefore, I have to finish, but not to finish like in the middle. This one picture has to represent the idea how we can actually come together and collaborate. This picture is to show you that during the 50s, 1950s, President Kennedy in the USA said, you know, we will land man on the moon. And because he said that, it was like a nice, beautiful goal. And we, to this day, use this technology that was created during the 50s and 60s. And that's why we also wanted to make a bold goal. And basically, we are trying to talk with you Finnish guys, because you recently were nominated as #1 worldwide according to Global Happiness Index. So you are the happiest nation in the world.